Hey everyone, my name is Dave Nixon and welcome to the Peak and Flow podcast. Today I'm going to be discussing a little bit of advice, life advice, if I may, that I've given a couple of people recently. And it's more so from literally experience of going, what has worked for me and how does that help me make decisions that are really important for me in career and business and so forth. And that bit of advice is to create your body of work, create your life's work. And so what I started to do was to shift my style of looking at my business and my career and what I read, what I studied, what I wrote about, moved away from this idea of like, I need to run a business just for making profit, or that I need to write just so that I've got more interaction on social media or something along those lines. What I started to do was separate myself from my job, my career, my businesses, because I am separate to all of those things. Those are things that I either own or do. They're not me. And I started to look at what was the meaning of life, but what was the meaning that I wanted to give my life. And in doing that, I was able to go, okay, well, this is what's really important to me. And this body of work is really about helping people overcome, avoid, recover from completely unnecessary pain, unnecessary suffering. And that could be mentally, that could be physically. I mean, really those things aren't separate anyway. They're completely overlapped as it is. But in the ways where things that are unnecessary, things that within our control, where can we stop our own suffering? And I looked at the body of work that I was already done and looked at the body of work that I was building, and I'm like, that's what's so important. And my businesses, my communication, they're all vehicles, this being one of them. They're all vehicles of that body of work. And what this has allowed me to do is to see my career as something that's going to continue as long as I live. And my actual paying career, or my job, or professional career, or the businesses that I own, these things are all vehicles that allow me to continue to develop and deepen this body of knowledge, but this body of work. And that's my life's work. Now, the other way to think about this as well, and why I think it's so powerful and important, is because this is what gives us depth to what we do. And more importantly, why we do what we do. And Simon Sinek talks about this, every business knows what they do, most know how they do it, but very few know why. And this whole start with why approach, but it's really starting with meaning, it's starting with depth, it's starting with these things that are exceptionally meaningful, and that meaning drives intention behind what behaviors are actually doing. Because this is where we get caught up, is that our lives are actually completely separate to our career. They're completely separate to our jobs. They're completely separate to the businesses that we own. If your business isn't doing so well, that doesn't mean you're not doing well. There are many factors that feed into that. What people can get caught on is that they tie that to themselves. They go, my business isn't doing well, I'm not doing well, and so on and so forth. And what they're actually doing is letting they've blended their identity with their business, for one. So there's a whole range of things there, but they're letting the external environment dictate their internal environment. They're handing their power over to something that's not them. And there's probably a motivation strategy behind this, but by not separating ourselves from our job, title, career, and business, we end up blending it. And at times it probably works for us. It probably allows us to perform really, really well in those jobs. But when those things aren't performing well, and we saw that through COVID, then we start to feel poor. We start to feel that we're not good, or we're not worthy, or we're a failure, or things of that nature. When we step back and we go, hang on a sec, what is this body of work? This is a sapling to the tree, right? So you plant a tree and then you go to work for decades. And throughout that period, you'll have moments where you're able to provide great value, whether that's through the business, or whether that's through being able to work on a project, or whether that's through talking with friends, or whatever vehicle it may be, or whatever interaction it may be. But when we see our life's work as this thing that we will continue to do, that's meaningful for us for our whole life, the idea of retirement doesn't even come on board. Because why would I retire from something that's so meaningful? I will retire from my businesses, I will retire from my title, but this life's work gives my life meaning. It gives meaning to all of the things that I do. And if we as individuals have the awareness and capacity to choose this for ourselves, right? I just got off the phone not long ago to a couple of owners of a real estate company, and I was explaining to them, I'm like, we're in the same industry. Like, it's easy to go, a real estate company sells houses, they sell property. No, it's a people company that helps other people create memories. They're selling a 2-year-old's, memory making space that they're going to have for the next 20 years that they're going to grow up in. Like, you remember the house that you grew up in, right? Or maybe a couple of the houses that you grew up in. That was probably sold or rented to you, or your parents rather, and that helped shape your life. We're not just selling houses or property. It's meaningful work because you're helping a family set up what their future is going to be, but more importantly, what the next generation's future is going to be. And so when we start to see our work being more than just selling fitness programs and property and fixing boats, right? When we see that what we're actually selling is, what we're actually doing is helping people create more memories, helping them participate more in life. We're helping them create intergenerational change, intergenerational wealth, intergenerational health. When we look at it like this, then all of a sudden what can be quite dry and profit-driven and objective-based and KPI-based becomes something that's exceptionally interwoven with something that's so much more than that. Because we all work in the people industry. 100% of your clients are people, 100% of the suppliers are people, 100% of the employees are people. It's a little bit different with AI now, but the actual people that we interact with. And the power of this for us is that when we're able to see our body of work as something that impacts people after we leave, we start to get this scope, this perception on life that we are only a single life in the millions and billions of lives that occur. And so the last thing I can really sort of offer you with this, that I would love to offer you with this, is to pause, take time, get a coffee, pour a whiskey, make a gin, get some water, whatever your, morning or evening poison is. And consider for a moment, what is the real reason why you do what you do? And then turn the page, write that down, turn a page and be like, what is important to me? What is exceptionally important to me? What is meaningful? What do I love? What's important deep down on the inside? And if those two things align, great. How can you continue to deepen both of those things? The vehicle that allows you to live something meaningful and do meaningful work. If those two things don't align, then the question first worth asking is, do I want these things to align? Or am I happy doing whatever job I'm doing and, maybe doing this as a hobby on the side? Like, this is not about everyone quitting their job and starting their own business. I'm not trying to say that. For those types of people that listen to this podcast, it may be worth pausing and considering, what meaning do I want to give my life? What meaning do I want to give my life? When all is said and done, when you're 80 sitting in your rocking chair and you look back on the decisions that you made, what meaning do you want to give your life now, looking forward? And in that case, what vehicles, businesses, jobs, resources will enable me to really live that and deepen that over a period of time? And my goal for me is hoping that whatever body of work that this continues to build into is that other people can grab that body of work and make it their own over time as well. They can deepen it and see how it all connects and and continue to make their own meaningful work off that, just like I have off so many other people's bodies of work. I feel exceptionally fortunate that I get to stand on the shoulders of giants, and I hope to be one day a giant myself that other people stand on the shoulders of, and I hope that for you too. And on that note, team, I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you found this podcast beneficial and you enjoyed it, then it would mean the world to me if you continue to pass it on, share it on socials, do whatever you do with it. Like, subscribe. I don't know what you do. Is that what we do? We do that still. And then you can get a copy of my book, Minding Yourself, anywhere online. You can check out more about our retreats and also our other programs at peakandflow.com.au. But that's me done. I'm out. I'm sticking with it. Peace and pizza. I'll see you soon.